For a sealed verse, that didn't take much effort.
Yes, all a touch too easy if you ask me.
Oh well, I don't care. Give me as many of them as I can to get easy.
It's almost as if someone was guiding us to this village.
But who?
Don't overthink advice.
No, maybe not. Where the fuck am I supposed to go now? Any quests around here? Oh boy.
This person must be dreaming too.
It would appear that way, yes.
Oh no, what?
Can't say I'm very excited to go back there. That dream world sorta creeps me out.
There are 2 villagers that we have to do as well.
Perhaps you should spend less time complaining and more
Yeah.
I'm on this mission. Oh no. I breathe air scented with death and resist the urge to laugh, for I know it will sound like the words of a madman. How long have I been in this fresh hell? My box, my prison, is stuck beneath a stairway in the long unused catacombs of some infinite castle. Outside, I hear the sounds of the funeral dirge that played without end. Light has no place here. Wind is a forgotten friend. I pray for death to come, but he forsakes me. Time passes, and eternity slips by in the single tick of the clock. Someone knocks on my prison. Anyone there? I hear an unfamiliar voice say. My savior! I claw at the door out of my jail, embedding thick splinters under my ragged nails. I scream for help. I laugh. I sob. Surely this is a product of my adult mind. Surely it cannot be true. Help me, I cry. For the love of all the gods, help me! Impossibly, I hear the sound of a lock being torn out and falling to the floor. As soon as the door slowly creaks open, I have just enough time to see a silver-haired boy and a floating book before the light pours inside. My eyes, accustomed to blackness, explode with pain, and I'm forced to turn away. Who are you, I ask, shaking hands, covering my face. How have you come to this place? I am Grimoire Vice. This is Shadow. That's probably how he would say it. I am the great and mighty Grimoire Vice. And this is Shadow. Long have we been searching for you. We shall now come. Stand. We shall awaken from this nightmare together. The one known as Shadow extends his hand and pulls me from the cell. Though my eyes are slow to adjust to freedom, my ears are keen as ever, and they recognize the staccato sounds of heavy rain. I never thought I'd hear that again, I whisper. Would that this were not such a terrible storm, said Grimoire Vice. Look at your feet. I force my eyes to open and see water pooling around my ankles and lapping at my shins. There's so much of it. Yes, and more to come. And more comes each moment we delay. If we do not make good our escape, we shall all drown in this castle. We know you are weak, but you are our only hope to survive this place. Time, that long-forgotten friend, made itself known again. I nodded my head and swore to save my rescuers, no matter the cost. The castle catacombs are a maze, twisting upon itself like the endless entrails of a giant. I squint down and then proceed north. At the end of the corridor, I find a row of 20 gorgeous canopy beds resting atop a carpet of velvet, all covered in a thick layer of dust and cobwebs. Searching for the door to the next room, I come upon a shapeless mass of gray matter. It has been shoved against the side of the wall, and despite my fever, I see the outlines of a door just beyond. When I reach out a finger and touch the piece of the mass, it turns to dust and drifts away on the wind. Realization slowly dawns, and I fall to my knees and weep. Corpses! I face a mountain of charred and crumbling corpses. I look from it to the beds and back again until horror dawns upon Horror dawns full upon me. Someone has piled these bodies into a tower and set them ablaze. Whether they were alive or dead, I do not know, and sanity will not permit me to consider the proposition further. I make a sound, whether scream or laughter, I cannot be certain. Then my mind grants me merciful blackness, and I find myself opening the door and leaving that most terrible of rooms. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed east. I squint down the corridors and proceed north. I squint down and once again go east. And the end of the path, I find myself in a great hall with only the sound of rain for comfort. The waterlogged red carpet squishes beneath my feet as I approach the center of the room. Once there, I behold a beautiful dining table upon which rests china and silver of the finest construction, as well as the remains of a fantastic feast. As my eyes continue to adjust, I see many chairs surrounding the table, each holding a dinner guest. Noticing movement, I approach the chair at the table's head. As the truth of the matter dawns on me, I recoil in horror. The host of the feast is a corpse, as are all the invited guests. An army of foul, wriggling insects have made homes in their remains, and this is the moment I saw. This once plentiful feast was now nothing more than a requiem for the damned. That's a cool song name, game name, album name, movie name. Requiem for the damned. I take a moment to steady my shaking hands, then slowly back away from the table. Desperate to lose sight of the abomination before me, my gaze lands on the chairs upon which the dead were seated. This is a mistake, for the chairs prove to be even more terrible than the feast itself. Each one is covered in a layer of spikes that run from the seat up the back and down the arms. I cannot see, okay? I need to concentrate so much. This explains the color of the carpet beneath my feet. I can only pray that the unfortunate diners were dead when the meal began. Let me go to the final area so I can get the fuck out of here. For if not, it is a simple task to envision the agonizing screams that must have sprung forth from their mouths. My mind grasped frantically at the possibility that these souls had committed some terrible crime for which this was punishment. Though in truth I suspect they had committed no crime at all. There would be no... You know what? Fuck it. If it makes you feel any better, they were all child fuckers. Pedophiles, the lot of them. Alright? And they are now dead, filled with bugs. There you go. Do you feel better now, Mr. Villager 1 that I have to save? The first of 2 idiots that I gotta save? There would be no tomorrow for these unfortunates. This was their last supper. I squint down the dim corridors and proceed north. Against all hopes, we make it to the front door. Break it down, someone cries, so I give myself the effort. In tandem with Shadow and Grimoire Vice, I slam my body against the thick, sturdy door. On the third try, it gives way, and we find ourselves sprawled on the ground outside the castle. It's like my body is actively fighting me, because now I have some sort of hiccups. The storm is in retreat. The clouds above are... Oh my god. What is wrong with me? What the actual fuck is wrong with me? The clouds above are still dark and foreboding, but to the west I can see the thin shimmer of sunlight trying to break through. How can I thank you? I cry as tears of joy rain down my cheeks. I would surely have died there. Looking down, I suddenly noticed that my dress is in... Dress? This is a woman? I sheepishly tried to cover my exposed skin. Your dress? Asked Vice. Then you are a woman, madam. I am. I proffered the two a smile. I suppose that comes as something of a surprise, seeing as how I exist only in the form of words. Yeah, I had no idea you were a voice. What? I had no idea you were a voice? I'm going insane because of all this fucking reading. I didn't know you were a woman. I can see that the one known as Shadow is disappointed that the torn dress will be given no further description. Fuck. No! Let me know more about the torn dress, please! But he hides it well. With a nod and a shrug, the three of us set forth to our awakening. Behind us, an awakening of other kind is taking place. Black smoke fills the abandoned castle, providing the countless damned souls inside with their final shroud. The damned souls that were pedophiles, of course. After a moment, the castle's windows shatter with a mighty tear. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. By the way, that is actually what should happen to all child fuckers. They should be burned alive. But then right at the moment that they would die, they should be put out. They should heal, and then after that they should get like the fucking oh fucking hell. Sorry, I'm just thinking of this right now. They should get the punishment that is given to that guy in God of War 2 that keeps getting eaten by the bird and then gets healed again. That's what happens. That's what should happen to all child fuckers. A fresh breeze blows through, but then we can now also turn it into like, okay, their bodies burn, but they don't die, and then the bodies are healed, and then they burn again, like in that sense, a continual burnage. A fresh breeze blows through the hallways and corridors, clearing the smoke away for good. As we watch in awe, uncountable black shadows slowly flicker to life, crossing to and fro in front of the broken windows. The castle's dead have awakened to their new lives as shades. Ah, a woman! Hey, beautiful!
You have anything to say about that?
What's that whole shades about?
Hopefully there will be no labyrinth next time.
I hear that.
Alright, now we go to the other one. You are a man.
And another victim. This work certainly is trying.
For sure. Who's ready for another half hour of reading? Oh my god, I have to hold back the urge to just say no.
I figured a book like you would be into all this word stuff, Vice.
Fuck you.
Even I have my exceptions. Now let's be off.
Into the word vacuum. Into another text adventure. A colony of mass sculptures was visible in the distance, their tall forms scraping against the sky. By the way, I hope you guys are liking my voice, because for the last two videos, maybe one, last video and this video, you've heard nothing but my voice. So I hope you enjoy my voice, and if you don't, I'm so sorry. I was born with this fucking thing, and I ain't no goddamn voice actor. Vice and Shadow had never seen such a sight. And their eyes widened as they tried to take it in.
Those buildings must be huge if we can see them from this far away.
Please keep the voice acting in.
What do you think, Vice?
As Vice considered his answer, the sun beat down on them with renewed ferocity.
Perhaps they are some manner of mirage.
Ha! under this heat, a mirage or two would be hardly an unexpected sight. Shadow nodded and wiped the sweat off his brow, leaving a trail of sand in its place. He thought he'd never been so thirsty. The ancient road on which they walked was black and cracked with age. Here and there, thin wisps of grass pushed up through the rocky surface as if defying those who had laid this material down over their home. The heat reflecting from the road made Shadow lightheaded. His feet hurting, he crouched down to rest. I don't know how much longer I can do this. Is someone playing a joke on us or what? The complaining had already begun. Vice tried not to let his eyes roll too much. A joke, he said. No joke. This road leads to... Oh wait, a joke? No joke. This road leads to the City of Art. Fuck me, 53? In the last two days, I got 311 views, and in the last 60 minutes, in the last hour, it's been 33. Get the fuck out of here. Perhaps the path itself is simply some manner of grand artistic work. You don't sound very sure of yourself there. Perhaps not, but thinking of it in this way, might make it easier for you to bear. Shadow glanced at Vice's grinning face, shook his head, and resumed walking. Hopefully this is a short story with a short answer. As time passed, Shadow's feet grew more painful and his throat drier than he thought possible. He tried not to look further than the next step ahead, because the bright sunlight made him hesitant to trust his own senses. "We are definitely getting closer," said Vice, in an effort to cheer his companion. "Yes, this much is certain." Encouraged, Shadow lifted his gaze. Suddenly he stopped walking, choosing instead to stand in the middle of the road with his mouth and eyes wide open and his fingers pointing in the distance. "Water!" he cried. "It's water!" "Water?" asked Vice. "Preposterous. I don't see any water." "Over there, just ahead of us. Look, the sun is reflecting off of it." Without waiting for a response, Shadow sprang to life and bounded towards the side. What in the... There was no water. There was nothing in the sand but sand in every direction. Shadow closed his eyes and sighed as Vice floated up behind him and chuckled softly. "I believe this is known as a mirage," he said. "Many a desert traveler has spoken of such things." Shadow shook his head, bewildered. Suddenly he pointed off in the distance. His eyes widened once more. "Wait, there it is. I just missed it. Look, it's right there." Shadow sprinting off again, leaving Vice with no choice but to follow. After a few minutes of running, Shadow came to a halt. "I could have sworn it was right around here." Confused, he put his hand up to his eyes and rubbed them vigorously. As soon as he stopped, he noticed a blue, shimmering pool of clear water just over the next rise. With a shout, he bounded off in search of it. The chase continued for nearly an hour until an exasperated Vice finally floated up to Shadow and struck him in the face with his cover. "Enough, you blithering idiot! Stop this at once! There is no water here!" Shadow's face clouded. "There isn't?" "There is not. And perhaps next time you will listen to me when I tell you as much." Vice paused for a moment, then continued speaking in a slightly kinder tone. "However, I suppose this mad chase was not altogether wasted. It seems we have arrived in the City of Art." Shadow looked up, stretched out before him was a row of impossibly tall sculptures.